at the Splash Palace, and this is how we roll when you're an amputee and you come a swimming. Leg gets left here. I take myself on the crutches to the chair and then in and out of the pool from there. Today I decided I needed to stop mooching up and down, and although I still did the usual 2,000 meters, what I did was halfway through I decided to up the pace. Now there's only one way that I can get back to the pace that I used to be at, and that's to stop swimming lots and lots of kilometers and switch it to interval and speed training, same way as you would if you were a runner trying to improve your sprint distance. So that's what I started to do today. I've decided that getting back to where I used to be, even though I can't compete as an age group athlete anymore because of my disability, is not beyond my means. I can still get to that level of fitness if I chose to. So that is what I've decided. What it means though is that I'm going to need to ride a bike. And if I win the argument with ACC, I'll need a running blade. But anyway, one thing at once, I need to ride a bike. So I tried this. Now, yes, I can get the pedals on my time trial bike to go around, but it's not very comfortable at the back of the knee. There's quite a lot of knee bend going on and a lot of pressure on the back, on my leg from the back of the socket. So then I went back to work with my mountain bike shoes and tried the spin bike, which I know is not as severe a position, and it actually worked better this time. This is the second time I've tried it. This time without shoes, that was a disaster. I'm going to need clip shoes, but that means I'm going to need to know how to get my foot out. But anyway, one thing at once. So what I'm planning to do is the same thing as I did when I was trying to rehab my knee replacement in order to get back to riding my time trial bike. I'm going to ride the spin bike at work. I might just steal it, sorry, anybody who likes it, and park it in my garage and ride it every day like I did when I was rehabbing my knee replacement, so that I can get this knee used to bending further. And what I did was I started with the seat quite high, load it. When it was a titch too low, then I went and tried the time trial bike. It also might mean an adjustment to the socket, and that would also depend on whether I win the argument with ACC, because each leg costs about 15 to 20 grand, and I can't afford that. So ideally I'd have a riding leg, so the socket is a different shape and it allows me to bend my knee more. But the more they cut out of the top of the socket, the less stable it becomes around the knee. So that's why people tend to go for a separate leg for riding. So anyway, my next job is to sit on the spin bike and get my leg used to that. What I've discovered is that a lot of walking starts to make my leg ache. Now, it's not a normal ache, it's a pressure ache. So I sit down for a couple of minutes and it goes, and off I go again. And I think it is just my leg being used to being under that amount of pressure inside the socket holding me up. That's what I now need to train my leg to cope with, because I can wear it all day and it's no problem, but it's the amount I can walk around on it is now what I need to work on. Plus, it will also help when I don't have a leg that's wobbling backwards and forwards and the socket fits properly. That will be week after next, maybe. So we'll see. So my next goal is to increase my speed on the swim and start to use the spin bike to get my leg used to riding a bike, so I can have another fitness opportunity instead of just the swimming. Anyway, what I want to talk today about is Waitangi Day. Today is the public holiday of Waitangi Day. Waitangi Day was actually the 6th of Feb, and the original Waitangi Day was the 6th of February 1840. Now, I'm going to give you a potted history. I don't know the ins and outs, and I'm not a New Zealander, but I'm going to give you the European's Guide to Waitangi Day. Captain Cook, potted history, Captain Cook sailed around this fair land, landed, had a few fights with some Maori elders, there was, some bloodshed and whatnot. Then, cut a long story short, they decided they better get sort of like a bit of an agreement going on, because they couldn't move forward otherwise, and the Crown wanted to occupy the land, but it was already being occupied by the Maori tribes. So what happened, cut a long story short, is the Westerners and the Maori signed an agreement which effectively gave sovereignty to the island of New Zealand to England. So that is why there's a Union Jack on the New Zealand flag, because it used to be one of the colonised countries. And that agreement between the Maori and the British was called the Treaty of Waitangi, and it happened in a place called Waitangi on the 6th of Feb. Now, what they've done, years later, they made that into a public holiday, and it is now Mondayized. So Waitangi Day was Saturday. So today is the actual public holiday of Waitangi Day. But what actually happens, as does with everything, is there's been a number of arguments. So the Treaty of Waitangi, I did read a history book on this a while back. It's been translated into the translations between Maori and English. There's been arguments about that and whether it's been fairly translated. Then it was left for a while. Then it was made into a public holiday. Then another few decades passed by, and then there's some arguments over the Treaty of Waitangi, and that basically the Maori felt like the British sovereignty had conned them out of their land. And it is an argument that pops up here and there all of the time. But the Treaty of Waitangi is it's classed as the founding document of New Zealand. And like I say, the original treaty was signed in 1840. So there is a ceremony happens at Waitangi every Waitangi Day, and it's a public holiday. So if you want to know more, go and look in the history books or ask a New Zealander. So that's a wee little tiny snippet of history of New Zealand, and that is why today's a public holiday. So anyway, I am going to leave you to enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.